En las noticias del día, las tropas de las Fuerzas de Defensa Israel, FDI, están extendiendo operaciones en el área de Khan Younis, en el sur de Gaza. En un comunicado de este viernes, las FDI dijeron que sus tropas eliminaron a docenas de terroristas mediante ataques aéreos y fuego de francotiradores y tanques. En esas operaciones, las FDI dijeron que un militante de Hamas, que llevaba un lanzagranadas antitanque de mano, fue abatido por tanques antes de que pudiera disparar. Nos vamos a esta hora a Jerusalén y hacemos contacto con Salem Ergi, que nos tiene obviamente la última información de todo lo que está ocurriendo a esta hora, previo a que inicie el nuevo año allí en la zona. Sal, muy buenos días y gracias por estar en Café CNN.
Hola Ana María, pues hoy el curso de la ofensiva militar israelí pasa por su ampliación en la zona del sur, como tú decías, en la zona de Khan Younis, después de que renunciase a haber tomado el control de gran parte del norte de Gaza y haber iniciado esta semana también su asalto a varias zonas del centro del enclave palestino. El ejército anunció esta mañana también, como tú decías, la ampliación de la ofensiva en la zona de Khan Younis. Es una ciudad considerada, por supuesto, la capital del sur de la Franja de Gaza, uno de los principales feudos del brazo armado de Hamas y donde se encontrarían también los líderes, tanto Mohammed Deif como sobre todo el líder de Hamas, Yahya Sinwar, una zona también rodeada o sobre todo por encima de una amplia red de túneles. Y como tú decías, el ejército en un comunicado afirma la muerte de docenas de terroristas, cito textualmente, en varios enfrentamientos. Por su parte, Abu Obeida, que es el portavoz del brazo armado de Hamas, ha anunciado, o ha afirmado, mejor dicho, que las tropas israelíes están fracasando en su invasión, en su incursión, porque dice no tienen la firmeza que tienen los efectivos de Hamas. Un Obeida que ha reiterado el mensaje de Hamas de no negociar con Israel un canje o una tregua, liberación de rehenes de israelíes, siempre y cuando Israel no cese su ofensiva. Y la ofensiva continúa, Ana María, porque desde anoche habrían muerto ya 35 palestinos, según el doctor Khalil al-Dikran, citado por la CNN en una entrevista. Es un doctor del hospital de las brigadas de los mártires Al-Aqsa, en la zona de Deir el-Balah, en ataques desde este sábado por la noche contra zonas residenciales en el centro de la Franja de Gaza. Si hablamos en el aspecto humanitario, hay que destacar que Naciones Unidas vuelve a alertar, en primer lugar, de que hay 150.000 personas en esa zona del centro que han sido llamadas a evacuarse, a salir, debido a los combates y ataques, y según Naciones Unidas no tiene a dónde ir, porque en el sur es una zona con un importante hacinamiento y tanto ahí como en el norte hay un reto o una, digamos, asignatura pendiente, y es el temor a la hambruna cada vez más importante en la Franja de Gaza. Hemos visto imágenes terribles también de palestinos agolpándose otra vez más a camiones de ayuda humanitaria llegadas desde Egipto a una franja que hoy cumple ya 84 días de ofensiva con combates, bombardeos y una crisis humanitaria cada vez más grave. Ana María.
Smoke billowing from the mountains of southern Lebanon, a troubling and now increasingly frequent signal of escalating hostilities. Iran-backed Hezbollah claiming to have targeted an Israeli border city on Wednesday with 30 rockets. This in response to Israeli airstrikes on the Lebanese village of Bin Jbel just hours earlier. There is nothing residents here can do to shield from the growing tensions gripping the embattled border region. Each airstrike bringing with it more fear and more grief. This latest attack killing at least 3, according to state media, but only one said to have been a member of Hezbollah.
This neighborhood, which is in the heart of the city, is supposed to be a safe area. Civilians were sleeping in their homes when suddenly we heard the sound of aircrafts above, and then these houses were destroyed.
The situation on the border has long been tenuous, underpinned by a UN resolution adopted following the 2006 Lebanon war, calling for a cessation of hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah. But Israeli officials are now warning of an escalation which could open up a new front in the Gaza war.
The stopwatch for a diplomatic solution is running out. if the world and the Lebanese government don't act in order to prevent the firing on Israel's northern residents and to distance Hezbollah from the border, the IDF will do it.
Israel's unrelenting military operation in Gaza and the devastating civilian toll has sparked anger across the region. And while the US continues to call on Israel to move towards what's being described as a lower intensity phase of the war, Israeli officials, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, have warned of a long fight ahead, with plans to expand their military operation southwards already underway. Overnight Thursday, the foreboding red glow of fire illuminated the dark winter sky over Rafah. This, the very place civilians have been told to take shelter, a so-called safe zone and a crucial gateway for aid, once again targeted by Israeli airstrikes. In nearby Khan Younis, emergency teams work day and night to tend to the wounded and to recover the dead. Israel says it is targeting Hamas and has issued renewed calls for civilians to evacuate, but there is nowhere left to turn.
People sheltering in schools do not know where to go. First, we were displaced to Nusrat, then to Rafah. We keep on getting told to move from one place to another.
For the 2.3 million Palestinians trapped in Gaza, the vast majority now displaced in the south, there are no guarantees of safety. Surrounded by a war which has shown them no mercy, and engulfed by a humanitarian crisis of unimaginable scale, leaving little hope for an end to their suffering. Nada Bashir, CNN, London.
Israeli youth, meanwhile, demanding action by the government to bring home the rest of the hostages. Crowds rallied outside the Knesset on Thursday, waving Israeli flags and chanting, "We want them alive." It comes as the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is telling hostage families to secure their release are ongoing. Journalist Elliot Gotkin with more.
On Thursday evening, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met with families of hostages still being held in the Gaza Strip by Hamas and other militants. He told them, "We are holding talks right now to try to get them freed. We will not give up on anyone." For his part, President Biden is also making more efforts to try to get those hostages freed. He held a conversation with the Emir of Qatar just the other day, Qatar being a key mediator because of its close ties to Hamas to try to get another truce agreement in place. But given that fighting between Israel and Hamas is, if anything, intensifying, optimism that another truce agreement that would see those hostages freed in exchange for the release of Palestinian prisoners being held in Israeli jails is in short supply. Of course, any new truce would anyway be too late for some. Just on Thursday evening, Kibbutz Nir Oz confirmed the death of the American Israeli-Canadian citizen Judy Weinstein. Weinstein, who is 70, leaves behind 4 children, 7 grandchildren, and even a 95-year-old mother. Now, we know that she was injured on October the 7th when she was abducted by Hamas. It now seems that she may have succumbed to those wounds. Either way, she died on October the 7th, according to her kibbutz, as did her husband. She was the last remaining female American citizen being held hostage in the Gaza Strip. There are still 6 men who hold American citizenship being held in the Gaza Strip out of 100 plus hostages who remain in captivity some 80 days after they were abducted. President Biden, in a statement, saying that he will never forget what the daughter of Judy Weinstein and family members of other Americans held hostage in Gaza have shared with me. They have been living through hell for weeks. No family should have to endure such an ordeal. And I reaffirm the pledge we have made to all the families of those still held hostage. We will not stop working to bring them home. Elliot Gotkin, CNN, Tel Aviv.